Not going to happen again. But we have to be careful about two things. Number one are the PACs, because, you know, they've raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Much of it I could have had. I mean, you know, when I tell a guy, I don't want your money, he goes to Jeb, or he goes to Marco Rubio, or he goes to these other people, and they give it to them. That's the problem. Well, let me ask you then. I promise I won't do anything for him. Should I take the money? No. I was in Iowa, and we had an amazing place like this. And I said, I went through a whole routine. I said, listen, it's so hard. She's saying, take the money. Take the money and run, right? Take the money and run. No, but I was in Iowa. We had a room just like this, thousands of people. But I did a long, big thing on it. I said, so here's the story. I promise you, I swear to you, let me take all of these many, many, many millions of dollars. Let me take them. I promise you that I won't do anything for the people giving me the money. Okay? I said, so, and I thought they were all going to say, yes, take the money. The place went crazy. No, can't do it. So anyway, I'm the only one that's self-funding. I'm doing my own campaign. We're spending money. And here's the news story. I got to tell you this. I got to tell you this story, though. So I figured I'd have about $20 million spent up until this, mostly ads. But I'm a business person. So on CNN, on Fox, on all the others, I'm like, they give me so much time. They give me, like the debates, every question was, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, and I'm saying to myself, what about these other people? I actually felt badly for them. And then when they started, and the last one was CNN, they start with me, and then go, Mr. Trump. Then when they asked the other guy, Mr. So-and-so, or governor, or senator. I think it was like crazy. It was crazy. But you got to remember, so you have these PACs. They have hundreds of millions of dollars. They're going to spend this money on the other candidates and probably attack ads, as they call them, on me. Rush Limbaugh said, no human being has ever received so much incoming as Trump. Incoming. I'd never heard that word before. It was a cool word. I think of it as being like bombarded with shells. He meant bombarded by bad media. But no individual has ever. And if you remember when I announced, and it was tough, you know, it takes guts to run for president. It really does. It really does. This isn't something that I needed. And actually, I did Face the Nation. It's going to be on Sunday. Nice guy, John Dickerson. And I did last week. Oh, by the way, I have to say it because we're going to put out a press release because nobody's going to report. So last week, I do Meet the Press. Did anybody see it with Chuck Todd? And I did This Week with George Stephanopoulos. So I did them. So I said, and I just asked Corey, my campaign manager, I said, how did they do in the ratings? So Chuck Todd said, now maybe it's wrong, and if it's right, but that's what supposedly he said, that he did unbelievable numbers, his best numbers in 4 years. That's with me as a guest. George Stephanopoulos, their numbers were through the roof. I mean, literally, their numbers were through the roof. George, who treated me fairly, and so did Chuck. So I did it. Doing Face the Nation. Watch how big the numbers are. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like The Apprentice. It's crazy. But I have to tell you, the press gives off false signals. So false. And I've never seen anything like it. I mean, now if you sneeze, you end up with a story. But I've never seen, some is honest, I'd say 30%. And some is pretty dishonest, and some is really disgusting. You know, knowingly bad. And I tell you two things. You're going to see a lot of inaccuracy from the press, and you're going to see a lot of commercials about Trump and other people. Those commercials are made by people that want influence, like I used to be. I don't blame them. When somebody gives Marco Rubio $2 million, or Jeb Bush $4 million, or Hillary Clinton a lot of money, for the most part, she's not doing so well. I mean, honestly, she shouldn't be allowed to run. No, she shouldn't. No, she shouldn't. I don't think that the Democrats are going to stop her from running because the system is inherently unfair. I can tell you this. If that were a Republican that did what she did with the emails, they would have been in jail 12 months ago. They would have been in jail. It's a very unfair system. Very unfair system. But I'm telling you, if that were a Republican, it's called jail time. Clink. General Petraeus, you know, it's funny. I watch all these guys that I'm running against. We had 17 total. Now we have 16. Scott Walker was favored to win. And, you know, he went after me. All of a sudden, he was my friend. He came to my office 7, 8 months ago. He gave me a plaque, a trophy, a plaque, because he thought I was great and because I helped him. And he was fine. And then all of a sudden, a month ago, he hit me. I said, why did he do that? Because he was not gaining. And then I hit him back and he's out. He's gone. No, he's gone. And then, no, he's gone. And don't forget, he was favored to win. He was favored to win. And I heard Charles Krauthammer and some of the others, some of the pundits saying, before I got involved, they said, this is the finest field of people that have ever run for political office. I'm saying, really? You know, why? I don't get it. So he's gone. And then all of a sudden, the governor of Texas, former Governor Perry, he hit me so hard. I couldn't, and he was a friend of mine. Take me out to dinner. Come to Texas. We love you, Donald. You're the smartest person on earth. Come to Texas. And he's the nicest guy. Then all of a sudden, a few weeks ago, he announces he's going to have a news conference to make a speech on me. I said, what did I do? And he made the most vicious speech. And he was at 5, and he went down to 0. Right? And he's gone. No, it's crazy. And he's gone. Then you have Lindsey Graham. Oh, he was vicious. Remember the cell phone? So Lindsey Graham calls me up a few years ago. And he said, Mr. Trump, you're fantastic. Unbelievable job you're doing. And he asked me to do him a favor. I won't tell you what the favor was, but it was actually honest, which is unusual for a politician, okay? He asked me to do him a favor. And then he asked for campaign contribution, which, of course, is like part of the thing. Usually when I'm getting ready to hang up with a politician, I say, okay, come on, I got to go. Let's go. What else? Well, do you think you could help me out a little bit? Anyway. Years old. I had it down in a stack. I call it the waste stack. You know, it's waste. And somehow I'm going to make, and I see this number sitting there. I said, wow, I wonder if it still works. And I held it up. But he was at 4 or 5. And then he attacked me. And I attacked him back. And you remember with Perry? Perry said, Donald Trump shouldn't be on the same stage with some of these people. These governors and senators. He meant governors and senators. No, think of it. So I'm saying, look, I know him. In a couple of cases, you have failed governors, really smart people, in many cases. And I'm saying to myself, I shouldn't be on the same. So here's what happens. Went to the best school, very smart. I have a good gene pool. My uncle was a professor at MIT for a long time, one of the great people. But I'm saying to myself, I wrote The Art of the Deal. Do we have Art of the Deal, right? One of the great selling business books, probably the best-selling business book of all time. All of these things I did. And then I went out and I made a fortune. And believe me, I had a small start. I had a father who was great. But you know, you can always tell the haters, I'm doing a book. And it's a rough book. It's going to talk about the problems that we're in. It's coming out in 3 weeks. Crippled America. That's the name of the book. Crippled America. Because whether we like it or not, that's what we have now. Okay? That's what we have now. But you always know, my father was a Brooklyn builder and a great guy, my best friend in the world ever. And he taught me so well. But you always know when you're dealing with scum. And what I dealt with the press, they said, this is Brooklyn, New York, Brooklyn and Queens. Now, we know Brooklyn and Queens. It's wonderful, but it's Brooklyn and Queens. And I always wanted to go to Manhattan. And you always know you're in trouble when somebody says, yes, his father gave him $200 $100 million to go to Manhattan. My father thought I was crazy to go to Manhattan. And my father didn't have $200 million. That's a lot of money. But you always know, and by the way, he loaned me a tiny bit of money, and he thought I was nuts. But he said, you know what? I have such confidence in my boy. And I went to Manhattan, and I made a fortune. And I only tell you that, I only tell you that because it's important. It's important to know, you've seen what's happened all over the world. They all said, Trump will never run. The pundits, you know, the pundits. Trump will never run. Then I announced I'm running. They said, oh, what happened? Then they said, he'll never file Form A or whatever it's called. That's where basically you sign your life away to federal elections, right? He'll never file it. I filed it. They said, oh, that's strange. Then they said, he'll never file his financials because maybe he's not worth as much as everybody says, right? Now, my financials were over 100 pages or about 100 pages, and I mean detailed stuff, and I filed them ahead of schedule. Some of the politicians asked for extensions, and they had 1 page, and they have nothing. They have nothing. So I have almost 100 pages of stuff, and I filed my financials, and they went through them. Oh, did they? Oh, they thought, oh, finally. You know, I'm a private company. Nobody knows what I have. Forbes doesn't know me. Forbes said I'm worth $4.5 or $5 billion. They put me on the cover of the magazine. But they don't know what I have. I'm private. But now all of a sudden, I filed these papers, and they're very detailed. And people said, wow, he's really rich. They couldn't believe it. Not only rich, you know what? I have some of the greatest assets anywhere in the world, some of the great real estate in the world, 57th and 5th and 40 Wall Street and Doral in Miami that you know, and Turnberry in Scotland, and some of the greatest things. Bank of America building in San Francisco, big chunk. 1290 Avenue of the Americas, among the biggest floors in Manhattan. So many different things. And people said, we didn't know this. I built a great company. The reason I say it is because we are going to put whatever that talent is up here to work for our country. That's what we're going to do. Because our country is in such trouble. Now, the thing that most amazed me, I was asked just a little while ago at the press conference. First of all, I'm with some of the greatest people. I'm with about 40 pastors and ministers that came here from all over. Where are they? Where are they? I love them. So much for us, and so great. They came from all over the country, and I love them, and they're just great people. And we appreciate that you're here. Thank you very much. We so appreciate it. And Mr. 999, where is he? Come here, Herman. 999. When he said 999, I said, what the hell is that? But he had a good thing, right? Herman Cain. Great job, Herman. Thank you. Your family looks beautiful. Great guy. A great guy. So we have to get the word out. And the word is going to be distorted 2 ways. It's going to be distorted by money, and it's going to be distorted by the press. Because the press is very dishonest. Most of it. Very dishonest. These people back there with the cameras. See the people? Look at all those cameras back there. Look. No, they're very dishonest. And again, not all of it. You'll see, like, you see the madhouse. There's Katie Tur of NBC, who's actually been better over the last couple of days. You have CBS, you have ABC, you have CNN, you have Fox, you have MSNBC, you have everybody. And look, so here's what they do. Because we've had crowds like this. I mean, everywhere we go, we have not only sellouts, there are thousands of people outside. And my wife, every time I go home, hello, darling, nice beach. Were many people there? It's true. Were many people. Because you know what? They take those cameras, they have it drilled on my face. They never show the audience. And then Katie and the other ones, oh, CNN is brutal. And we're on live CNN. Can you believe I'm on live and I'm saying they're terrible? Brutal. They're brutal. But it's the way it is. They are brutal. So I go home and I say, so Melania, let me ask you, how was I? You know, and people say he's got a big ego. Let me ask you, men, women, anybody up here? You're up here for an hour and a half. You're talking. You don't have teleprompters. I don't have teleprompters. Right? Right? I've always said, if you run for president, you shouldn't be allowed to use teleprompters. You shouldn't be allowed. Because you don't even know the guy's smart. He's reading. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This is wonderful. Speed that teleprompter up. I joke. But you shouldn't be allowed to use teleprompters. But I don't have speeches either. And I've gotten, good credit for that. But I get up because I'm speaking from the heart. If you read a speech, it's true. If you read a speech, or if you have these stupid teleprompters that black out. I mean, Hillary had one the other day. I never saw this one. She's outside, and it was sunny, and she's reading off the teleprompter, I don't like Donald Trump's tone. Now think of it. We have people whose heads are being cut off. They're being mutilated, maimed. They're being killed. Our border is a mess. Crime all over the place. People being drowned over in Syria and other places. In jail because they're Christian. And we don't get them back even though we give $150 billion to Iran because we have stupid leaders. And Hillary is reading off her teleprompter about tone. And Jeb Bush said the same thing. He said tone. But one thing, and I said, you know what I said to tone? We need tone. We need tone. These people, whether it's Marco or Jeb, it's all political stuff. It's so you get so tired of it. Carly, it's that, that staccato, like a machine gun after 10 minutes. Oh, please. You can't take it anymore. And then you look at the record, it's one of the worst I've ever seen. She got worst CEO in history. Now, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign, but she's a nice woman. Okay, please. And Jeb is nice, and Marco's nice. But Hillary has these and because it's outside, I don't know, they were massive. They were so big, and they were painted black on the back because it was outside. I guess I never saw it. At least usually it's cleared less. And I saw the audience, of which they had about 200 people, by the way. They didn't have 10,000 or whatever the hell we have. I mean, this is a huge amount of people. But she's got this massive teleprompter, and the backside is painted black, so she can read it better. And I'm saying that must be awfully tough if you're in the audience. You can't even see her. You can't even see through the glass. But the distortion of what's said is incredible. And, the other day, I was talking about, and I actually think they're all nice people. I know most of them, and for the most part, they're nice people, but I don't care if they're nice. Honestly, I don't care. It's time that we get somebody, because I think I'm a nice person. I love people. I love the people in this room. I love people. But I'm so tired of seeing our country ripped to shreds by China, by Japan, by Mexico, by Brazil, by Saudi Arabia, by everybody. I mean, give me a list. I'll read every country in the world. Everybody. We have people representing us that are incompetent, and probably, in many cases, they happen to be stupid. I'm sorry. So, we have a problem because my word is being so distorted. It's so incredible. And I think you can see I'm having a good time. I really am. They said to Jeb Bush, he was like this. They said, are you having fun? Yes. They said to Marco Rubio, are you having fun? He's sweating like a pig. I never saw a guy sweat like this. The sweat is pouring down. Now think of this. Now we all agree Putin is a pretty tough customer, right? Who would you rather negotiate with Putin, Trump or Bush? How about Hillary? How about that one? How about Hillary? Billions of dollars are missing from the State Department. You know, that's like a little story. Billions of dollars are missing from the State Department. And I'm saying to myself, it's like a little story. Billions. Billions. How do you don't let that happen? You don't let that happen if, like, there's $2 missing from his business, he kills somebody. Here we're talking about billions. But think of it. Hillary... And you know, you do need energy. You do need energy. And that goes for more than Jeb. You know, I said Jeb is a low-energy individual. And we need strong. I think Rubio is a low energy. But here's the problem with Rubio. When you sweat that much... Now think of it. So you have Putin, he's sitting over here. And he's waiting to kill the stupid Americans because he's been just destroying us so badly. So he figures, oh... And a guy walks in, and he's soaking wet and sweating. Hello? Hello? Can I have some water? And Putin's sitting there. What the hell kind of stuff is this? This is not exactly a poker player, folks. Not exactly a poker player. This is what we have. No, this is what we have. So, and I don't mean to pick on Rubio because I think he's a nice person. I don't mean to pick on Jeb Bush. I think he's a lovely person. I think they're lovely people. But that's not going to make our country great, folks. Not going to happen. And Hillary is sure as hell not going to make our country great. Not going to. It's going to be the same old stuff. It's always the same. It's whitewater. It's always the same. It's always like problems. It's always like they problems. So, let's get back to my 2 points. So, we have 2 pretty big problems. The press is totally dishonest, meaning a big portion of them. And you're going to have hundreds of millions of dollars of ads, both positive and negative. In fact, I'm leading the polls, and somebody came back to me last night. They said, oh, Mr. Trump, I think it's over. I think you've won. I said, no. When you have $200 million of attack ads, who the hell knows what's going to happen? I don't know. They'll make up this crap. And by the time you prove them wrong, you know, what difference does it make? Because it's lies. It's horrible. So you have that. You have hundreds of millions of dollars of phony advertising given to these PACs, which, by the way, are a disgrace. By the way, you know, the candidate's not allowed to talk to the PAC, right? They're not allowed to talk to the PAC. You think that Bush is talking to his PAC? Do you think that Hillary is talking to her PAC? Not allowed to, by the way. Not allowed to. I don't. Somebody said I have 5 or 6 PACs. People form these. I don't even know who they are. I have no idea who they are. I saw 2 guys on television. They said, yes, we're in charge of such and such a PAC. But I said, who are these people? But we have a problem where you're going to have a lot of false messages put out over the next 3-4 months. And I love the people in Iowa, love the people in New Hampshire, love the people in South Carolina. Those are your first 3. Doing great there, but I just don't know. You know, I had a very bad situation. I had this crazy Club for Growth. You ever hear of it, Club for Growth? It's a conservative think tank. Well, I never heard of it. But I heard it was, so they wanted to come up and see me. They came up to see me. You know what? When they say Club for Growth, you know what they're talking about? The growth of their wallet. That's what they're talking about. So the guy comes up to see me, tells me about the Club for Growth. I'm falling asleep listening to him. He's the president. I think he used to be a congressman, so he's well-trained. I think he used to be a congressman. And that was it. Then he asked about money and would you make a contribution? I said, really? Hey, we can have billions, but, you know, you still like to watch your money, right? Don't we watch our money, right? You don't want to be stupid. So anyway, I forgot about him, totally forgot. It was not a memorable performance he gave. Then what happens is, a week later or so, I get a letter from the Club for Growth. Would you contribute $1 million to the Club for Growth? I said, are these people crazy? Who are they? And I forgot about it. We told him no. And all of a sudden, he has a news conference attacking me. That's politics. And then in Iowa, they spent, listen to this, $1 million on ads against me in Iowa. And it was terrible. I mean, I said to myself, now here's the good news. They used the best pictures. I look so good in those pictures. I'm trying to find where they got them. Because they're stupid. They said 20 years ago, he wanted a tax increase. By the way, I just put in papers asking for a major tax reduction, bigger than anybody else. And some other things. But I was like a young guy. I looked so handsome. I said to myself, oh, I wish I still looked like that. It would be great. So anyway, but that's politics. They're very dishonest people in this business. You know, I'm in real estate, and a lot of Manhattan real estate, and real estate all over the world. And you know, those are tough cookies. They're like little babies compared to these crooked politicians and the crooked press. They're really babies. So you have a problem. So we're going to have a lot of ads come out. And the reason I talk about it is so that when you watch television and you see an ad paid for by the group for so-and-so, which you know is one of the candidates, remember it's a phony deal. Just remember. The other thing is this, and important. When the press covers this event today, you watch. They'll never say how many people are here. Although, if it's somebody other than me, they might. Because I saw the other day in Las Vegas, I had a packed house. Did a great job, got great reviews locally. But the national press, it was amazing. It was an amazing event. Now, what I tell the press to do all the time, because they keep, I told you my wife to finish that, so I say, how was it? How was it? And they go, and she goes, were there many people? Now, what they do is they put on your face and they refuse to do. So what I'm going to do is span out. Span out. Show them the crowd, press. Show them the crowd. Show them the crowd. Look, they're not turning the cameras. They don't even turn the cameras. They don't even turn the cameras because you know what? They're very dishonest people. They're very, very dishonest people. Why don't you span it? Span it. They're very dishonest people. So they get up and they talk about things, but it's a very unfortunate thing. So what I'm saying and what I learned and what I told my friend before, it's amazing how smart the public is. Because the public gets it. The public gets it. We have a little incident where I go and meet the press last week. Now, he said it was the highest ratings he's had in 4 years. Don't hold me to it. But Chuck Todd told my guy it was the highest in 4 years. George Stephanopoulos said something like this, and it was like 8 million between the two shows. Watch how good Face the Nation does this weekend. I'm sure that CNN loves hearing that commercial. Watch how good it does. So just think of this. So we have a situation where we, all together, are being fed so much false information. So much false information. One of them is crowds, which isn't even the big deal. But, you know, if you say there are, I don't know, 8, 9, 10,000 people here today, nobody knows. And they say, yes, Donald Trump had a small crowd, not enthusiastic. And I'm saying, isn't that terrible? We have one. It's a really dishonest group, Politico. Did anybody read that crap? It's losing his shirt. I hear that. So we have this guy, I don't know his name, Ben Schreckinger. Every single article is a horror show. I'm winning the polls. He said, I should have done better. And he goes, the other day they call him, we want to do a story about Mr. Trump's businesses, but just the ones that didn't do that well. So we say, what about the hundreds that did great? No, we're not interested in them. And he actually gave this statement in an email. He said, it goes without saying that he's done well. It goes without saying. Talking about, well, that goes without saying, so we don't have to write about them. And by the way, one of the things I'm most proud of, when I got caught in depressions, recessions, I had friends that went bankrupt, they're gone, never to be seen again, I never did. But when I got caught in recessions, depressions, and I'm building a $2 billion building or a $1 billion building, I always came out great. I always came out great. Don't worry about the banks. These are tough people. They can take care of themselves. They can take care of themselves. But I always came out great. And that's what we have to do with our country. Because we're going to have good times, bad times. We've got to come out great. We've got to come out strong. So, with Meet the Press, the big story is whether I'm staying. And I just want to tell, and I'm going to say it very, very firmly, and I said it a little while, but I'm going to say it so strongly. Are you ready? I love this. I love the people. I love the country. We're never, ever getting out of this deal, okay? Ever. Ever. We're winning. We're going to take it to Cleveland where we have the convention. And after that, we're going to beat Hillary or whoever it is so badly. So badly. Thank you. Thank you. No, I wanted to make it clear. I wanted to make it clear. I really wanted to make it clear because I love doing it, but I don't love doing it because I'm having fun. I love doing it because of the end game, because I know, just like all of these red hats and the white hats make America great again, I know we can do that. I know 100% we can do that. It's not even going to be that hard. We can do it. It's not even going to be that hard. When you look at the gross incompetence of our government and the way it's run, the way our government is run, it's not going to be that hard. Let me give you a few examples. And I put in a tax plan, and it's been met very nicely. I mean, it's a very big tax cut. It's going to be, I think, very dynamic for the country and for the economy. And a lot of people have said, really fantastic. And of course, you're always going to have critics, but a lot of people have said great. But more importantly, we're going to do a lot of cutting. We're going to get rid of Common Core, which a lot of people... We're getting rid of Common Core. Can you imagine? There are those that really believe that your children sitting here in the middle of Atlanta or any place else, New Hampshire, Iowa, South Carolina, no matter where we go, I have the same thing. They want to have parents' meetings with the teachers, with the principals. You know, the United States is 28 in the world in terms of education, and yet we spend more per student by far than any other country. So we spend more money by far than any other country, and yet we're 28. And then you have a Jeb Bush, and you have others that I'm running against. I'm trying to be so nice to these Republican people. I really am. I'm doing my best, but it's hard sometimes. Because you have these people, they want Common Core. Why they want it, who the hell knows? Because it's not even close. So we're going to get rid of Common Core. We're going to build up our military so strong and so powerful a very good man, general, retired 2 weeks ago, and he said the Army is the least prepared in its history. You heard the quote. Our Army today is the least prepared in our country's history. Now, this is from a general who's in there. He knows. We don't know. He knows. I sat there, I listened. It's hardly covered by the press. That's unbelievable. To me, that's front page, and there should be no other story. Hardly covered by the press. You look at our military, we send over to our allies, who are all a bunch of thieves for the most part. Listen to this, and I've said it, because I find this to be amazing, because I know how big a deal it is. It's like a movement of a massive situation. You need a flotilla. 2,300 Humvees with armor plate, the best in the world, that if our young people were in those Humvees instead of the crummy ones they had, we wouldn't have the wounded warriors in the shape they're in. We wouldn't have them. They're our greatest people. They're our greatest people. So we give them to our allies. A shot is fired in the air, and the enemy takes all of them, because our allies run ripping their uniforms off, leaving these unbelievable expensive machines. But we're not talking about 3 machines. We're not talking about 5. I thought it was like, they didn't say 2,300, did they? 2,300 Humvees, heavy armor plate, the best in the world. Because we can do it better than anybody, folks, that I can tell you. The best in the world. A shot is fired in the air, and everybody flees, and the enemy takes it over, says, thank you, stupid president. Thank you, stupid Congress. Thank you, unbelievably stupid everybody. I just cannot understand how we can allow it to happen. We have incompetent people in Washington. So we're going to build up our military bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we won't have to use it. We're going to take care of our greatest people, our veterans. We're going to take care of them. Thousands are dying waiting in line. Thousands are dying committing suicide. Thousands. The reports are unbelievable. I don't even like talking about it. The reports are staggering. They're staggering. Our vets are not being treated properly. Illegal veterans are being treated better in many cases. The illegal immigrants, let me just tell you, illegal immigrants are being treated better in many, many instances than our great vets. It can't happen. It can't be that way. It cannot be that way. So our vets are going to be treated great. Our military is going to be strong. We are going to have a border where people cannot come into this country illegally. We're going to have that border. And we're going to build a wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it. And it's going to be a real wall. It's not going to be one of these jobs I saw the other day where trucks are going. They build a ramp, and they have trucks loaded up with drugs going back and forth. What are we doing? What are we doing? And I love Mexico, and I love the Mexican people. I have thousands of Mexican people and people from all over. But I have thousands of Mexican people working for me. They're incredible. Their spirit, their everything. They're great. But their leaders are too smart for our leaders. We don't know what we're doing. And every time I say, we're going to build a wall, everybody loves it. I say, Mexico's going to pay for it. And our stupid politicians say, that's not possible. That's not possible, they say. And for them, it's not. First of all, this is going to be a Trump wall. This is going to be a wall that people aren't going over. If they go over it, it's going to be a long way down. They're very uncomfortable. And we got to stop the drug trade. You know, the drug cartels are pouring in. They are pouring in. It's going to Chicago. It's going to New York. It's going to Atlanta. It's going all over the place, and it's causing problems. So here's the deal. We get the drugs. They get the money. They leave with satchels and satchels of money right across the border. So we're going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay. So the other day, I was listening to one of my people that I'm competing against, if you can believe. Can you believe I'm a politician now? I never thought I'd say that about myself. I'm embarrassed. So the other day, one of these politicians is saying, who knows nothing about construction. I mean, I build great buildings. Look at the buildings I built. This is so easy, a wall. Probably precast plank. You know, a parking garage, you ever see? They run those suckers 80, 90 feet long, precast, beautiful. They come in trucks. It goes up like magic. Wouldn't it be nice if we had them standing up right in a foundation? Just nobody's going over it, folks. And it's not expensive. So easy. That's what I do best. In all fairness, had a lot of success. What I do best is build. Think of it. To have a president that knows construction better than anybody. And we have an infrastructure that's crumbling. Our roads, our highways, our airports. I mean, they came in, they built a veterans hospital in a certain location, like over $1 billion. I said, how much did that cost? They didn't know. All they know is much more than $1 billion. Took many, many years. Thing looks like it's cost 50, 60 million bucks. And I'm good at that. I can look at a building and tell you what it should cost. Wouldn't it be nice to have a president that really knew construction? Remember the Wollman Rink in Central Park? Remember the famous Wollman Rink? I mean, it's sort of interesting. I haven't mentioned it in years, but the Wollman Rink in Central Park, it was there. It was under construction for 8 years. They couldn't get it built, an ice skating rink. I went to the mayor at the time, Ed Koch, and he got angry at me because he thought I stood up, I showed him up. But I went to the mayor and I said, let me do it. I did it in 4 months, and we had money left over. And they had spent almost $20 million. I spent like $1.8 million. And most of the money I spent was ripping down everything they did. So wouldn't it be nice, we have a big infrastructure problem. But here's what I did. I told the certain politician that actually said it's not practical for Mexico to pay. So I asked one of my very smart people to go over and do a study, the trade imbalance, U.S. trade deficit, right, between China and us, Japan and us, and Mexico and us. So let's go to the good news. Mexico was the least amount of money. Close to 50. Almost $50 billion a year. That doesn't include the billions of dollars that we give to Mexico for different reasons, none of which anybody knows. Okay? Now, the wall is going to cost, they were saying $12 billion. I say we can do it twice as big, much better looking, because I want to make it good looking. I told one group, I don't want to be repeating myself, but I said I want it really good looking because someday they're going to name it after me. It's got to be good looking. The Trump wall. But, so what happens... So we're almost 50. It said 45, but almost $50 billion trade deficit and that does not include the drugs. You probably can add another 50 for that. So when I go, if you have the right messenger, now if you have some dope, hello, will you pay for the wall? Absolutely not. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. President, they won't pay for the wall. Trust me, they'll pay for the wall. And you know what? I love Mexico. They're going to pay for the wall. You know why? Because they're ripping us off to the tune of hundreds of times what the wall is going to cost. Now, you need the right messenger. You need a person that can deliver the message. So let me just tell you. So Mexico is actually 45 billion, like 50. If they tell you 45, we know it's a lot more. Do we agree? If they say we have a deficit of 45, it's probably double that, but let's say 50. So we lose $50 billion trade deficit with Mexico. Japan. Exactly. I think this guy's heard this before. $75 billion. $75 billion. $75 billion with Japan. Again, if they say 75, it's more. So what happens, and I've said this, I'm in Los Angeles 3-4 weeks ago. I see the biggest ships I've ever seen. The cars are pouring off these ships from Japan. We give them nothing. What do we get? We give them beef. It's true. You know what it is? A tiny fraction of what they give us. So they're making a fortune, and here's the beauty. China, $400 almost $1 billion a year. And this has been going on for years. And then I watch Obama, our trading partner, China. I don't want partners like that. Our trading partner. So I have the smartest guys on Wall Street who are friends and enemies of mine. I don't care if I like them or not. Do we care if they're nice people? No. I have the smartest people on Wall Street. They're all lined up. We have the greatest negotiators in the world. We have the smartest people, but we don't use them. We use clowns. We use people that have no ability. We use ambassadors. We use Carolyn Kennedy in Japan. She's a very nice person because my daughter Ivanka said she's very nice. So I love my Ivanka. So if she says she's nice, she's nice. But we have Carolyn Kennedy. She's a primary trade representative. She's the ambassador to Japan. She didn't even want the job. They said, would you like it? She felt she was totally ill-equipped. Well, since when does that bother anybody? So you look at that. You look at what's going on there. If we can make those deals much better. I don't even say they have to be perfect. Okay? How do you go from losing $400 billion to making money? I mean, that's like pretty tough, right? Even for my guys. Even for my guys. But if we can bring those numbers down massively, I don't mean like 399. I mean big league. And then over a period of time, ideally not too long, we bring them down. So even if it's a break even, do you know the kind of money that you're talking about? I have great relationships with China. I have tenants in my buildings that are China. The biggest bank in the world is my tenant in New York. I know China very well. They can't believe they're getting away. They tell me we can't believe we get away with it. They can't believe it. So I know these people. We can straighten out much of the economics of our country just by negotiating some of the bigger trade. Some of the bigger trade deals. Because if you look at China alone, a friend of mine, and he said, that's the coolest quote I've ever heard. I didn't mean it to be the way. I said, what China has done to the United States may be the greatest theft in the history of the world. I think it is. They've taken our jobs. Think of it. Think of it. They've taken our jobs. They've taken our money. They've taken our base. They've really taken our spirit. We feel horrible. I mean, every time you look, they go up 7, 8, 9, 10, 12%. Our first quarter, we were even. Who ever heard of even? We have more people coming in. We have more people coming in. And we're going even. How do you go even? Our first quarter, we were actually even. Our GDP. We can't let it happen. So I have the greatest people in the world lined up. So what we're going to do is the following. We're going to cut taxes. We're going to take care of our military. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, which is a disaster. Which is a disaster. We're going to, thank you, we're going to build a wall, and we're going to have a border. And we're going to fight the whole anchor baby situation, which is insane. Which is insane. And by the way, some of the greatest legal scholars, you know, you heard, well, Mr. Trump said, a woman's pregnant. She's like almost 9 months. They move her over to the border, and she's getting ready to have the baby. And they move her into the border because our security people and our patrol people, who are fantastic, our Border Patrol people are fantastic. I met with them 2 months ago. They're fantastic people, but they're not allowed to do the job. So they're going to put the baby's going to be born in the United States. Congratulations. You now have a baby for 85 years that we're taking care of. I don't think so. I don't think so. And this isn't Mexico. This is many countries. This is from Asia. This is from all over South America. I mean, the problem we have is we have a porous border. That's the problem. But this is from all over. But that's not what the 14th Amendment says. And in this, I have to tell you, I was a little surprised because a lot of people thought we needed a constitutional amendment because we always heard, if you're born here. Well, if you're born here to a person that's illegal, then it's violated, as did. And the greatest scholars, legal scholars of the world, are telling me now that I'm right. The only one that's not telling me I'm right are the lawyers that you watch on television, the television lawyers. But I knew it couldn't be this way. So we're going to end it. Hundreds of thousands of people are born on our soil, and we say, congratulations, we're taking care of them for 85 years. I don't think so. I don't think so. And on illegal immigration, and I have to tell you this, I want people to come into the country. Just so you understand. I'm not saying nobody can. I want people to come into the country, but I want them to come into the country legally. Legally. And when I made the statement that we have a tremendous crime problem, everybody said, oh, what a horrible statement. He doesn't like this country or that. I love those countries. I love those countries. But then you had Kate in San Francisco. Magnificent Kate, shot in the back by a guy that's been shoved over here 5 different times. You had Kate. You have so much other. We have massive crime, and people didn't want to talk about it. And had I not brought it up at my opening, you wouldn't even be talking right now about illegal immigration, and it's become one of the biggest factors. One of the biggest factors. So I want people to come in. I want people that go to Harvard and all of our great colleges. When they're finished and they do well, we force them out of our country. I want them to stay if they want to stay, and many of them want to stay. Let them stay. Let them go to Silicon Valley. We want great people to stay in this country. So this has been an amazing experience for me. The whole thing has been from day one, from the time I started, where everybody said he'll never do it, till now where we're not leading by a little bit. Not a little bit. We're leading by a lot everywhere. Everywhere. You know, yesterday a poll came out in New Hampshire where we're leading by close to 20 points. You believe that? Does anybody write it? No. But we're doing great. And it's been fun, but it's been fun for a different reason. I see the end game. I see what's happening. And I tell people when there's spirit like in this room, I say, look at around the people next to you, because this is more than just a group of people. If you had somebody else over here, they wouldn't be in this big, massive room. They'd be in a small hotel conference room. They'd have 50 or 60 or 90 people, and they'd be sitting around falling asleep. I'm telling you. This is a movement. One of the people who works for me, George, just before I came up, he said, Mr. Trump, I've been doing this for 25 years. And he's done it at the highest level. He said, I have never seen anything like what's happening with your campaign. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, we're going to get out. We're going to get to work. We are going to work so hard. I am going to spend whatever money is necessary. I don't care. And by the way, and because you're saying I can't do it, I will not take from all these guys that want to give it, okay? And to be honest, what does that mean? When the lobbyist comes up to see me that he's representing Ford or he's representing Boeing or he's representing somebody, and he wants a favor, and I didn't take his money, it's so easy to say, no, I have to do the right thing, right? It's so easy. But we are going to do something that's special. This is, and you know, and I say it, they used to call it the silent majority. It's not silent anymore. It's not silent. And it is a majority. It is a majority. People didn't get out to vote in the last election with Romney. You know, if you look at the people, like yourselves, for some reason they weren't inspired. Everyone says you need this view, you need this, you need that. If the people got off their sofa and voted, the Republicans would have won. They weren't inspired. Something happened where they weren't inspired. There are plenty of us. There are plenty of us. Great people. And by the way, I think we're going to get a lot of Democrats. I even think we're going to get a lot of liberals, because you know what? They want to see the country get better. They want to see our country get better. So, I want to thank everybody for being here. We'll be back a lot. Atlanta's a special place. So many friends. And we are going to make America great again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I love you. Thank you.
All right, you just heard from Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump speaking live in Norcross, Georgia, which is about 20 miles northeast of